Gentlemen, gentlemen, gentlemen. And ladies, of course. Especially the ladies. Welcome to the workshop. Tonight we have an inferno. I cut a bunch of wood today. 2 big boxes of wood. So I got lots to play with now. Grasshoppers hit last night, actually. Tonight I see they're back again. Check this out. I'm drinking brown or black homemade limoncello. Limoncello, that's black. And drinking it out of a pickle jar. That is very hillbilly, that's for sure. Homemade alcohol, drinking it out of a pickle jar. How did that happen? My limoncello, I made it a few times now. Why this wood burns fast? If you make it with white sugar, it comes out yellow. You know, it's lemon. Actually, I use limes, but I use the Thai limes. I found a use for lime skin. Limoncello. But this time, I made it out of, made it with brown sugar, and it turned it, oh, it looks like rum and coke. It's very good. It's not really homemade alcohol. It's actually very illegal to make alcohol in Thailand, and I know people do it. I know locals do it. They make the rice wine. Some kind of, like, it's like the wine. They call it wine. As you know, it's like moonshine, undistilled moonshine. It's nasty stuff. But making alcohol in Thailand is illegal. Any kind of alcohol. This is not actually making alcohol. This is just flavoring it. That's all it is. But I know there's expats that make it. Probably never ever get in any kind of trouble, but it is against the law. Same with brewing beer. Not allowed to brew beer either, which is pretty difficult to do here anyway, with temperature and getting the stuff. I looked into it a couple years ago, and it might have changed now, but then the closest I could find to beer making supplies or the malt or anything, and you can do it from scratch too, but everything was in Singapore. That's the closest place. So you're going to be hit hard with import tax, even if you can get it in the country. But I know some guys do it. But again, it's illegal. Why these bugs are loud. How cool is that, huh? Okay, this video. A YouTuber in Florida, Rob Moffat. He did a video on stories about changing tires, or flat tires. I'm like, I can do a video about flat tires. I can do a lot of videos about flat tires. I've been in some sticky situations because of flat tires. You know, I've changed tires on the Trans-Canada Highway in Canada. We were driving from Regina, going back to Edmonton. It was -40 when we left Regina. It got colder, and we had a blowout with a fully loaded pickup truck. There's 2 of us, so it wasn't too bad. Can get out there and get it down. So we got suited up and changed the tire. I had to take a bunch of stuff out of the truck because we couldn't get it jacked up. Right on the side of the Trans-Canada Highway, big semi trucks flying by all the time, and it's really friggin' cold. That was probably a record change because we got that done insanely fast. You had to. We were going to freeze to death. So I changed tires in -40. It was probably closer to -50 then. Another time we were driving, again, it was in Saskatchewan. We were driving from swift current back to Edmonton. Late at night, about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, in a ice storm. There was so much freezing rain, oh the bugs, that the driver's side door was frozen shut. I couldn't even get out through the driver's side door. I had to get out the passenger side and change this. That was another blowout. That was in a small pickup truck. That's one, and she was empty. It wasn't a big deal, but everything was covered in ice. Couldn't stand up on the road. It was that slippery. You know, it was just a glare of ice. It's amazing what you can drive on, you know, you can't even stand on it. So that one was fun. There was 2 of us again, so it wasn't too bad. India. We're driving back from work. I had a driver in India, and he was a taxi driver. His taxi was a tiny little car. Got a flat tire on the motorway. And he gets out to change it. You know, it's pitch black. Of course, he's got no flashlight or nothing. At least when in Canada we had flashlights, you know, when we were doing it in the dark. He had no flashlight or nothing. So he's going to change this tire, and he's like, no, I can do it. You don't need the help. I'm like, I want out of here. I'll help you. In that little car, I was taking the tire off, the flat one off, and he was getting the spare. It was the weirdest thing. I'd never seen it before. I have seen it since. It didn't have lug nuts. It had lug bolts. So you take it off and you pull the bolt out instead of a nut. And you know, the tire would sit on the studs. So that was a little different. And a lot harder to get the tire on. Because now it's dark and you got to line up the holes to get the bolt in. So that was interesting. A flat tire on in the dark with a ton of traffic. And they don't slow down or move over for you, that's for sure. And right on the middle of an Indian motorway. So that was fun. Yeah, my fire's doing good, huh? Another one in Thailand. I was working in Thailand. 2005 I worked here. And that's another story. There's a lot of stories from that job, that's for sure. But one day we were driving somewhere. Did a lot of driving. I was burning up to 2 tanks of fuel a day. We were driving somewhere, and I had 2 helpers following me in a different truck. And you know, I knew there was something wrong with my truck, but it wasn't that big a deal. I'm thinking dirt in the tires or something. You know, there was a little wobble. And the guy in the truck behind me called me. He said, "You better stop. Your tire's gonna fall off." So I did, and it's amazing. You know, it was just a little wobble, and there was only 1 stud left. All the bolts came out, the tire was wobbling, and there was only 1 stud keeping that tire on. And as soon as you stop, it falls down to the side, and that's it. So I almost lost the tire that day. That would have been something. But snapped off all those studs. So then what you gonna do? They called up this mechanic guy, because my helpers worked for the company that owned the truck. The local Thai company. They called somebody. He came out within an hour. He was there, and we were in the middle of nowhere. Within an hour, he was there, and he replaced the studs. I didn't even know you could do that, but he got it done and put the tire back on. And off we went. So that was a weird one. I'd never seen that before. Another time in Thailand. Same project, different truck. I come out in the morning. I was staying in the condo then. I was living in the condo then. So this would have been even earlier in the project. And I had a flat tire. So okay, the truck was fully loaded. None of it I could take out, so the truck was very heavy, hard to jack up. But I get it jacked up, I take the tire off, I go get the spare out from under the truck, and it's locked to the truck. I got no key. There's no key for the spare tire anywhere. I can't get the tire off. So okay, I can cut the lock off. Yeah, right. Couldn't get an axle in there. I actually had an axle. Couldn't get the axle in there. I broke the blade in half. Thought I could just cut it with my hand, and I could get the blade in there then, you know, not very well. but whatever kind of steel that lock was made out of, some kind of hardened steel, that axle wouldn't even touch it, or the axle blade. That wasn't happening. So then the security guy from the hotel came over. He said, this is 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to work. It's 5 o'clock. The night shift security came over and he said, I know a guy that has a tire shop. He can get this tire fixed for you. So he called him up. The guy shows up on a motorbike. He picks up the tire. He goes back to his shop, plugs it, pumps it up, brings it back and puts it on. So I pay him, which wasn't much. I think it's like $10, $300, something like that. It wasn't much. I tipped the security guy for making it happen. But there was a second security guy there who did nothing. And I didn't tip him or even think to. Why would I? He didn't do anything. So I was finally leaving the parking lot. Now I'm, an hour later more for work. Missed my meetings. And this security guy that didn't get any money is quite pissed. He reached in through the truck window, punched me in the eye. And now I'm, I've been upset all morning as it is. And now this dumbass just punched me. So I'm between two minds, what do I do? Do I get out and beat the crap out of this guy? Or do I just drive away? And I did the smart thing, I drove away. Which is probably a good thing, because as soon as he started to scream, every Thai person in earshot of that would have been there and kicking the crap out of me. Because that's how Thai people fight. It would be me against the world, and it wouldn't have been a good day for me, that's for sure. Limoncello. It's good. So that was another flat tire nightmare. I was working in Mexico, in Baja, an hour and a half, something south of Tijuana, and doing a pipeline that went through the mountains. And they had to blast out these mountains to make roads all the way through there. And the road, they never put no kind of soil or real rock or anything. The roads were made out of the rock that they blasted out of the mountain. And it was sharp. And we were going through tires, a new set of tires every week at least. And not only me, every truck. Every truck on the line. So we were going through tires like crazy. So it was always flat tires. With work trucks, you go through a lot of tires anyway. It's just normal. But I didn't have any real bad ones. We had to change the tire on the side of the mountain a few times, and that's pretty sketchy, especially with a heavy truck jacked up on the side of a mountain. That's, the road is loose, sharp rock. So, it could have been bad, but it didn't have many problems. But I was there for 5 months, and I lost count of how many tires I went through. I bought every second-hand tire that would fit that truck that was in that part of Mexico. I had guys bringing them in from all over the place. And when there wasn't second-hand ones, I put new ones on. Because no matter what kind of tire we used, and the contractor, they had probably 50 trucks doing the same thing, there was no tire that would last. Guys were getting more than a week out of them, but they weren't driving as much as me, because I was, again, doing a massive amount of driving. So that was tire nightmare. I've never gone through that many tires. But I was in Australia, and this is somebody else. One guy in the old Australian ute, the pickup truck in Australia, he started his day with a flat tire. We saw him in the yard when we were leaving, and he was changing a tire. And we saw him again out on the right of way, and he was changing a tire. And we saw him on the way home, and he was changing a tire. And we talked to him that night, and he had 5 flat tires in one day. I don't know what the story is with that, but that's a tire nightmare. 5 flat tires in one day. And he was alone, so he got to change them all himself. We didn't have any tire issues on that project, I don't think. None that I remember. But yeah, tires and work trucks. A lot of them. I had a flat tire here at the house, but it was just a slow leak, so I pumped it up with a bicycle pump. I think I did a video on that. I pumped the tire up with a bicycle pump and drove to the tire shop 10 kilometers away and got the tire fixed. It had a little tiny, oh, it had a nail in it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did a video on that. It had a nail in it. And the guy plugged the tire and off I went. But yeah, I have tire nightmares. Tire changing nightmares. I've changed a lot of them. That's for sure. I just like this fire. That's cool as that, huh? So there it is, Rob. I changed more tires than you. But that's it, guys. Those are my tire nightmare stories. And if I sat down and thought about all the weird stuff that's happened to me over the years, especially from work, you know, I could write a book, that's for sure. A really long book. A real book. There's lots of weird stuff that's happened over the years. That's for sure. But that's a part of life, right? That's a part of being out there. It's a part of doing something. Things happen. Oh, beautiful night. Beautiful, beautiful night. Got it like this. And limoncello in a pickle jar. Hillbilly night out. I see no problem with that. Alright guys, so that's it. Thanks for joining me in the workshop here. Enjoying my fire and my crazy stories. Hopefully it wasn't as boring as it seems to be. The fire's not boring anyway, even if I am. Alright guys, as always, thanks for watching.